So today we are talking about oral communication skills. All right, it's a holiday class kind of thing, and we are going to talk about how to read precisely and how to read well. So this year you are in P4, right? Next year you will be in P5, and when you go to P5, it's going to be pretty different. Okay, it's going to be a little bit harder to get marks. It's going to be a little bit more demanding, and so we will begin with oral communication for today first, because oral is one of the easiest components to actually score well for the examinations. And if you can do oral well, you basically can speak well. And if you can speak good English, that will get you a long way from where you are currently, even if you go to other countries to work, like what I did as well. Okay, so that's why oral is so important. Now, today we are focusing on the reading component. Okay, based on your previous experience about reading aloud during oral, what do you think is important in when you are doing your reading aloud? So welcome, Mingfeng, to the class. Let me add you onto Class Dojo as well. So Chua Mingfeng. So I'll just put Mingfeng over here and Chua. Save. Okay. Ooh, who's that lady in your background, Mingfeng? Oh, it's Mingjun. Sorry, it's not Mingfeng. That looks like one of the girls from Blackpink. Yeah, I guessed it right. Okay. No, it's not Jin Yang. Where's Ming Feng Chua? This one here. Okay, Ming Jun. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Ming Jun? All right, cool. Save edits. So Ming Jun, basically each point you get here on Class Dojo, right, it's 10 cents. So 10 points is $1, 100 points is 10. Okay, so you get to trade it in at the end of the term for maybe something Blackpink related if you want. But yeah, today's just a trial lesson. If like my trial students come in, right, and then I don't see them for 2 weeks, basically I delete their accounts. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing about the Class Dojo. Oops, I'm on the wrong page. Okay, so tell me, all right, based on your experiences, what is important about the reading aloud section? What things do you have to look out for when you are reading to your teacher? Give me some answers, and then you get points as well when you contribute. You can type your answers in the chat group, or you can unmute yourself and you can speak. Up to you. But please raise your hand if you want to speak, yeah? So Clarice says, read clearly. What do you mean by read clearly? Reading clearly, there's many things that you have to think about, you know. So how would you say someone is reading clearly? How are they reading? Such that you can say, oh, I understand what you're saying. You might need to give me a little bit more detail on what you mean by reading clearly. Okay, so Jing Yang has a very good one. Jing Yang says, part of reading clearly is having good pronunciation. Okay, so good pronunciation would include, you know, people remembering to um, say out their EDs and their IEDs at the end of their verbs, right? And then good pronunciation would be people who remember how to say their TH words, right? Their th words like thoughts, right? That's good pronunciation. Very good. So that's from Jing Yang. We have a few more coming in. So he says, make the reading more interesting so that people can enjoy your story. So Zoe over here, right? She's basically saying, all right, make the reading more interesting by varying, which means changing, right, your tone when the situation calls for it, right? Like sometimes you would think that if it's a really scary part, you might go slower, right? If it's a really fast part, right? That's exciting. Okay, you go a bit faster, that kind of thing. Or when it's really, really exciting, your tone might go a bit higher and faster. Okay, when it's down and depressed, you might read a bit slower and your tone might go down a bit more. Right? Good. So that's from Zoe. Um, so Jingyang is asking, can I allow annotation? Can I unallow annotation, which means you want me to disable annotation? Okay, sure. I don't think anyone is annotating on my screen, but thank you for reminding me. And then Clarice also says, yes, reading loudly, right? Volume. Okay, so volume, whoops. The volume is really important. Okay, you need to read loud enough so that your teacher can hear what you are reading. All right. Clarice also says reading fluently. Fluently would be good pronunciation over here, right? Fluently would also be, okay, read at a reasonable speed. Not too fast, not too slow, right? Okay, we have a few more hints coming in. Good pacing, basically. That's what Xingyang is saying as well. Good. Okay, so have a good pace. Good. So those were some really interesting ideas coming from you guys. Okay, so I think Jingyang has quite a few good ideas over there. That's 4 points, and then +2 to Jingyang as well for being helpful. Um, we have Zoe, who gave me an idea as well just now. Great. Okay, and then Clarice also talked about pacing. Okay, Zoe said make the reading more interesting, right, by varying your tone. All right, very good. So those are some good tips, okay, for reading aloud. Okay, and here's the thing. When do you decide to pause a little bit? When do you decide to go a little bit faster? Okay, we all know that we pause at punctuation marks, right? That's what we've been taught in school. But did you know that different punctuation marks have different pausing times? So let's say, for example, over here, this green dot over here would be, let's call the green dot area here long pause. Okay, and then if it continues across in a continuum over here, perhaps this part you would call it a short pause. And then lastly, over here, we have punctuation marks that require you to have no pauses at all. You don't need to pause. Okay, so can anyone tell me what is the punctuation mark that requires the longest pause? Does anyone know? If you can, it's a free 2 marks. Which punctuation mark requires the longest pause? Clarice is very close. Jingyang is correct. Okay. Zoe is not a full stop. Clarice is not a full stop. Jingyang is correct. The answer is actually a ellipsis. All right. And ellipsis is dot, dot, dot. That requires the longest pause. Okay, that's called an ellipsis. So over here, let me just write the name. This is an ellipsis punctuation. All right, it means that, in the story, there is a short moment where things are not happening to allow the reader some time to understand, what's happening in the story. Then, okay, we actually have the rest of your sentence enders, your full stop, your exclamation mark, your question marks. These are what we call your sentence enders. Okay, and then we have our dashes and our hyphens. This is a dash. This is a hyphen. All right, and then we have our colon and semicolons. Then we have our commas, which are really very short pauses. And lastly, we do not pause for these punctuation marks. Open inverted commas, close inverted commas, and apostrophes. Okay, no pauses at all. So good. So Jingyang actually got it correct. Good. So Jingyang is correct. The one where you pause longest would be the one where you have 3 dots. All right, nice one. Okay, so think about where you should pause as well when you are reading. Okay, so that's a small little nifty tip at the bottom over there for your reading pleasure. So when we are reading, okay, I think a lot of you have already said, okay, we need to have good tone. Okay, when we are reading, we need to be expressive, especially when there are like dialogues going on in our stories, right? We need to act like we're the characters. We need to have appropriate tone. Okay, when things are exciting or when things go a little bit slower, the tone needs to change, and we shouldn't hesitate, right? We shouldn't hesitate, like in the middle of a sentence, right, where you're not supposed to pause, you suddenly pause for no reason. That's not good. And of course, consistent and clear pronunciation. So we talk about ACE over here, right? ACE. Think about it, right? Appropriate tonality, consistent and clear pronunciation, and being expressive when we read. Okay, so before we watch a video, all right, I would like you to listen to a story, right, that I'm going to create on the spot. And then you tell me, oh, someone left? Who left? Clarice, Jingyang, Mingjun, Avery, Zoe. No one left. No one left. Yeah, everybody's still here. Oh, Mingjun left. Oh, okay. I think for a moment, perhaps. He's still here though. He just has turned on a face yeah, he's turned on like a special effects for his face, but he's still there. Okay, so let's listen to a story that I'm going to tell about Mingjun and Jingyang. Okay, and I'm not sure whether Zoe and Clarice has heard this story before. I think you might have heard me telling this story before, but I would like to tell it in a way that's a bit more dramatic, in a way that's a little bit more uh, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more weird as well. Okay, so imagine this. Mingjun, okay, Mingjun is at home, okay, by himself. His parents are out because they're out for dinner, and he's in his room together with his best friend Jingyang. All right, and the whole house is dark because they've turned off all the lights, and Mingjun and Jingyang, right, only have the lights on in Mingjun's room. And so they are over there, and then Mingjun is showing Jingyang some of his beloved collections of maybe Blackpink memorabilia. Okay, and they are basically having a good time talking to each other. All right. When suddenly, okay, boom. Okay, here's where the story begins.